Hey, hey,
That
back
Clement.
again.
But you know what? I'm seeing social media and people are asking us questions
Yeah.
and wanting us to spill more tea on this, and this. So
Hmm.
that's what we're gonna do today.
Yeah.
So one question that popped up in our live is women and their dating roster.
Ooh, okay.
So, I mean, that's really broad. So I'm not sure where you want to like pinpoint and start on that.
You know what? We just gonna keep it natural, organic. We'll talk through it, and then if there's something that maybe we didn't touch on, or the audience wants us to go back and discuss more and expand, we can do that. But we just gonna do whatever like comes to mind for us. We're gonna keep it raw, real, authentic always. So I'm excited. So welcome back to another episode of Pink Tatch Chat, where we talk about everything from finances, relationships, and really A to Z, everything in between. So we're excited. We're gonna dive in. You already like mentioned the topic. So dating rosters. When you think of that, like what comes to mind? Like what are you thinking? Because I know what comes to mind for me, but I'm a hold.
To be completely like authentic, I've had a Vosh before.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with
But
that. It's not a bad
no,
thing. I think we should start like kick off by saying it's not a bad thing. At least in my opinion, I don't think it's bad. I don't.
no.
No.
I think in this way, men have, and women too, who
Yes.
are dating, have different personalities, different preferences, different ways that they're approaching things.
Mm-hmm.
Having a roster is not a bad thing because you're
No.
gonna see, and and it's a good way to not put all your eggs in one basket, and
That's
then
that.
you're
Yeah.
that and
Yeah.
you're investing in one person, and like let's be real, of course the person that you are dating, you're pursuing, they're
Mm-hmm.
not gonna check all the boxes, of course.
No.
You want to be with the person that meets, majority
Most. Most.
of your deal breakers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And significant uh deal breakers. Like I'm gonna just throw a few out that come to mind. Tasia can like chime in if I like missed any, like
Sure.
spiritually, how you lead in the home, financially, how do you lead in that?
Those are
You
top two for me, honestly.
Yeah, your values, and
Yes.
just how you want to operate. Like some people want a family person, some people want just you and me. Some
Right.
people have toxic upbringing with the family. Some people are close knit with the family. All those factor in. So of course, when you're like dating different people, you're gonna see how they approach things. You're gonna see how they handle things. You're gonna
Right.
see this is it. And the person that you're dating, that old like tale, how they treat the mom is how they're gonna treat you. And I think that does ring true with some people.
Yeah.
Not all, but some for sure. Well, that's how you talking to your mom? Oh, I see you. Because when I'm going through a hard time, is that how you want to talk to me?
Right.
I'm saying.
Right. I get
And
that.
and there's another thing. If I think for me, I kind of like screen this out. If we are going through a hard time together, how do we navigate that hard time? Meaning, if we have a disagreement, if we have a different approach on things, how are we tackling those issues? How? That's a big one for me because if you can't handle so this is a good thing to have a dating roster. It gives you an opportunity to see how different people perceive things.
Yeah, I would just say, personally, I think you should have a dating roster. And I feel like when it comes to women, typically we don't always have one. I think most of the time women will invest or put all of their eggs in one basket. And I'm saying, no, 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 stop doing that. And I'm guilty of that. I've done that in the past. And I think we should shift. Um, to me, having a dating roster is like taste the rainbow. You know what I mean? Like
Right?
taste the rainbow. You have different people who have different interests, different backgrounds, upbringings, morals, values, everything. And I think that's important to help you figure out and filter what's best fit for you. So how do you really know if someone sorry about that. That's my dog barking in the background. But how do you really know if someone is a good fit or what you like and prefer if you never had the opportunity to taste or experience different types of people. So I think like dating should be it should be fun. It should be something that you do to really help you really honestly assess and understand yourself. Because I feel like most of the time what we learn about the other person helps us to better understand ourselves too. What you
Yeah,
like, what you don't like, you know. And so I think that's important. And if you limit your options and you're only focusing on one person, then it's kind of hard. And I think as a woman, oftentimes when you are focused on one person, like you become narrow minded and you put all of your energy into that person, you're not really I feel like a common mistake is you try to force it or make it work with that person and you start to like them and they're the only person that's available or around at the time. So like you kind of I don't know. You know what I mean? I feel like you make it happen. And if you had a roster or multiple people that you were dating, then, you may not do that. You may kind of shift your attention to someone else. So I would encourage you to not focus on one person. I think that's a common mistake that a lot of people make, mostly women, but I'm sure there are guys who do the same thing. I think you should be open to dating multiple people. Now, I want to back up because dating to me is not sleeping around. It's not having sex with
but
those
be
people.
clear on that.
Clearly, yeah, no, clarify that.
The word roster does have a
Yeah,
stigma
yeah,
to
I
it.
think we should
But
clarify that.
when I say roster, I do mean like
Just
keeping
multiple people that you're talking to, getting to
that
know. That's it. Yeah,
keeping your options open in in a good way and in a
yeah.
healthy way. And I want to be clear that like please articulate that to the person that you are dating. I say, hey, like, yes, we are dating, but I'm also dating other people.
Seeing other people, talking with other people, getting to know other people. Yeah,
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 and be clear that doesn't mean that you're sleeping with them. It does not mean that, and it doesn't mean you have to sleep with them.
no.
Those those boundaries are okay to set, and those boundaries are
Up to
your choice.
you. Yeah. Like for me, I don't, but if you do, that's your choice. I don't encourage it because I think that when you introduce sex in any kind of situation, the lines become blurred and your vision becomes skewed. You emotionally, spiritually become a little bit connected with that person, whether you realize it or not. And sometimes your emotions and your feelings for someone can grow because you've introduced sex into the situation. And maybe if you didn't, you wouldn't feel so strongly or be so attached to that person. So I would encourage whenever you are dating to try to not jump into that so soon, just to really honestly give yourself a chance to get to know that person, who they are without the sexual relationship yet. And you may find that you learn a lot about that person, and maybe you don't like that person. Maybe you're not really compatible with that person. Maybe you guys are not aligned, and that's better to find out before you go ahead and start sleeping with them. In my personal opinion, that's just me. Now, like Tori said, you do whatever you want to do. That's up to you. But I would just say it's probably best not to open that can of worms right away.
I mean, for me, I think now in my 30s, personally, where I'm at, that's hard to navigate because I don't want to limit my sexual freedom. But then at the same time, my trust with people in general is fragile. Because
Mm,
like I
that's
want
fair.
I want the what you doing, babe?
Yeah, yeah.
At the same time, I have seen friends who have slept with a person on a one night stand and been together for 5, 6, 7 years, or who
Mhm.
have married each other. So it's
It
like,
happens, but I feel like that's the exception to the rule. Like it's not the rule of thumb. It's not. So
it's
like you're
not.
always gonna have like those exceptions and moments where it could happen, like happen, but usually is that how it ends? Probably not. And I
Mhm.
think it's worth mentioning, like my stance or my perspective is heavily influenced by like my beliefs, my spiritual beliefs. Like, I'm a Christian, so I definitely feel like it's best to hold off and wait. And I would prefer to wait until marriage. And to be honest, that is not something that I've always practiced. So please don't like misunderstand and think, oh, I've been doing this. No, I'm now that I've become older, now that I'm in my 30s. I've had some dating experience and I've learned a lot of hard lessons. I realized sex is not something I want to do in the beginning. It's something I feel that is best kept for my partner, my person. And I'm not interested in sharing my body, my spirit with just anyone. But again, that's a personal like conviction and belief that I've recently really wanted to adopt. I've been a Christian for my entire life, but how I operate, how it shows up in my lifestyle looks different today than before when it comes to dating. So that's just something to kind of like add some color to why I have that perspective. And for Tori, it'd be different. And I think that's the important thing. Like, this is an open dialogue for a variety of different people from different, backgrounds and belief systems and whatever to like come together and just talk about it. So, what's your, perspective when it comes to that? I know you said you're a little bit more open to it but it's more of a trust thing.
Mm. I
Yeah.
think I'm open to it, but it's more I need to filter, I need to learn, I need to explore you more than just kind of reaching the surface
Yeah.
before we get to the fun stuff. And heck, I love the
I
fun
mean,
stuff.
it's a serious thing. It's not to
Uh,
be taken lightly.
but
Yeah.
like now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, look, listen, the fun stuff can wait a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can wait.
I mean,
I
do you like me?
that
I think that's what
uh,
I really want to understand. Do you like me? Not my body, not what I can offer, not the fun time we can have together, but what we are building or exploring. Is that sustainable? Is that
that
real?
healthy,
Right.
healthy.
And like I said, sometimes I think sex can be a distraction or cause you to see things that are not there. Because you're enjoying yourself and you become a little bit more involved than you probably would have if you wasn't. So that's just my 2 cents.
I mean, for me, I want to either way, whether I dive in early or I dive in later of our dating, whatever. I don't want it to be the foundation. I
Yeah.
want sure that whether we dive in early, whether we dive in the middle, whether we dive in later, whenever works for us. But I want to make sure, like, do you like me? You feeling me? Because I know I'm feeling you. And I think when I was younger, I would definitely hold back when I was feeling person because I didn't want him to, or I didn't want to be like, oh, you catching feelings? We are too old to be having that conversation. Oh, you catching feelings? Yes, babe, feelings hot, finish.
I mean, I
Don't
think that's the point,
don't
right?
sit there playing my face and be like, oh, you catching feelings when we've been spending 1, 2, 3 days together.
We
Yes, feel
talking all the time, texting each other.
feelings
We're
are hard.
talking about our dreams, our vision. Like you know, when you are dating someone, oftentimes they become part of your everyday life.
They
They
do.
become part of your life, period. You start to become attached to them, whether you want to or not. Sometimes it's involuntary. It's just over time, one, two,
Uh,
3, 4 months,
right. And
you become really just like
it's natural. It's a natural,
it's
it becomes a
natural.
natural, organic process. And you want it to still flow naturally. So when you're like popping, you're like, you're catching feelings, don't play with me.
I mean, of
But
course, I thought that was what we were doing. I
do
thought
it.
that's what we were trying to do. But I do think it's important to caution not to jump in and catch feelings right away because
Right.
I'm a
And at the same
big,
time,
yeah,
like,
I just feel like dating is not, the intention is not to like everyone you date. It's
of course,
not. You spend time getting to know someone, and over a period of time you will eventually develop feelings, but I would caution you not to like dive in right away. Like, seriously take the time to filter and figure out, do I like this person in that way? Because sometimes a person is just meant to be a good friend
and
or
that's okay.
someone that you just keep over there. It was nice knowing you, but we're definitely not, gonna move forward with that. We're not compatible. We don't mesh. And that's fine. I think that's part of it. But sometimes we make the mistake of automatically assuming we're gonna like that person and we go with that instead of really taking the time to get to know someone. Like really saying, okay, do we like the same things? Do we want the same things? Because I know in my like past experience, I've been talking with someone and they're not on the same like spiritual or religious beliefs as me. Is it a good idea to keep going after you figure that out? No, it's not. But I have, and then later, you
Becomes a bigger
already
problem.
feelings. You see what I'm saying? So where did you say, okay, we got the roster, we're talking with people, we're getting to know each other, we're having fun, we're enjoying our time. Where do you say, okay, it was really nice getting to know you, but you're not my person? When do
Mm.
you have that conversation?
Honestly, I feel like in the beginning of dating or getting to know someone, the beginning, you now hold that when I say feelings caught, I'm talking real like a several months in.
Mm-hmm.
But
So you've already done the screening and you
yes,
realize this
that's
is
what
a
I
good
mean.
person so far. It
Person.
feels good. We
Yeah.
have, like, we're
We
good.
align, we're aligning.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like in the beginning, I think, like I told you the big deal breakers. If religion is a factor for you, that should be like one of the first few conversations you
Oh, it
have. Like
is. It is.
hard
It is
conversation.
now. Yeah.
That yes, it's a hard conversation. Be like, hey, what do you think of this? And if they say you're not, then be like, okay, that's great. I really like you, but my long term,
Like my
I don't
vision. Mm-mm.
that. I don't
Yeah.
see us. And we can just cut ties here. And it's your choice if you want to be friends or not. I
Right.
completely respect that because they may have feelings too. And it
Mhm.
sucks to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah, but the truth is, you may like that person regardless of those differences. So it's like, because I've definitely done it, and I'm sure our audience and people, and even you have probably had, and maybe it wasn't religion, but it was something else. We've all had those moments where we kind of looked and were like, that's gonna be a problem later. But you know what? I like you.
I've
So let me just
been there.
try and trust you something. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying, now that we're becoming older, you gotta stop that.
You
If
can't
it's
be like,
serious for you,
and like,
yeah. If it's serious, like if it's like you said, a deal breaker, then whether you like them, starting to like them, feeling them, whatever, it's probably best to just like put some boundaries in place and say, okay, realistically, there's attraction there. I like you, whatever, but my vision for life, we're not going in the same place. We're not aligned with that. And the reason why I say, for example, religion is because, okay, fine, me and you, but I want for my vision in life, I want children one day. How will we raise them? Will we agree on that? It becomes bigger. It's small. It seems small now, but it becomes so much bigger later. And it can really destroy a relationship or a marriage, like a marriage, if that's where you go. So you have to be careful. You have to know what your deal breakers are. And you gotta stand firm on them. You gotta know, and you just gotta be like, as much as I want to or I'm interested, I know better. And I feel like that comes with experience. And I feel like that comes with age and wisdom. So when I was in my 20s or younger, would I have put so much weight or emphasis on it? No, I definitely didn't. Now that I'm older, I have a much better, clear understanding of what I want and what I desire, what my goals are, what my vision is. So I'm not gonna waste my time pursuing something with someone knowing that my goals are marriage and children, maybe, Yeah. Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I personally grew up, well, okay, so my mom was married and her partner, whatever, was a different religion, culture, whatever. And I was very fortunate we were able to celebrate his and ours. There was no
I mean, you can do both. That's a very real thing. You can.
things did have its issue of being sticky from time to time.
Yeah.
But we were able to make it work. And we did make it work. And it's very possible to have both. I'm
Hmm.
not saying you can't have both.
Yeah.
But
People
again,
do it.
you have to have that conversation with your partner. Okay, if we have both, if we celebrate both, what does that look like?
Compromise.
That
There has to be some.
yeah, that
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, not so much of a compromise, but more of we're gonna celebrate both. And then if we have kids, they pick what
Hmm.
they feel more spiritually connected to, more, or if they want both.
Well, the decision to celebrate both is a compromise. Is a compromise. So,
Right.
like, some people feel very strongly, like, no, I'm only going to raise my children this way. So the compromise is, okay, we're gonna celebrate both. That is an example of a compromise. Or we'll take turns this year, this year we'll do this, and then next year we'll do that. We'll go alternate. That's what compromise can look like. So, and it will look different for everyone, but it can be done and people are doing it, but for me, I don't want to. So, and again, if you're dating me, that's something we have to figure out. So if I don't want to, then it's best for me to not entertain people who are not, spiritually aligned with me. So it's just that's something you should know and be figuring out and filtering while you're dating. Intentionally dating. Now, if you're just casually dating for fun and you just want to get to know people, do your thing, baby. You know what I mean? But if you have goals, then you got to figure out what those things are. Like for me, religion, like spirituality, finances. those are like important priorities for me. What would you say are priorities for you?
Mm.
And just to say, those are not my only priorities. I have other things too, but like those are like examples of like two things that I really want to make sure that I'm paying attention to in the beginning. So if I'm seeing like misalignment, then I'm like,
Gotta let you go, babe. I wish you the
I'm good,
best.
love,
Come over there.
enjoy.
Yeah, I think I had a lot. My response for the initial thing, I think it has a lot to do with my upbringing. I think family values, finances, um, those are my deal breakers. Family values, finances, how we approach, how we tackle things. Those are my like factors. I mean,
Mhm.
I have other things
Of
too, but
course. I mean,
those
we
are
can all of them. We're not gonna give y'all all of the secrets, sauce or whatever. But
no.
just
If y'all want to get to know us,
oh well.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think finances for me and what I've seen growing up, finance is big to me
Oh
because it's
yeah.
like, and I've told y'all that I've always been a hustler. I've always done this. I need that to be important to my partner too, because I'm not
Ambition,
that. I'm not gonna have you sitting at home twiddling your thumb,
playing video
yo,
games.
playing video game. I'm not doing that.
Mm-mm.
I'm
No,
not doing
we too old for that. You know?
that. In our big age, that's not gonna make me happy. That's gonna be a problem for me. And
Mm,
that's gonna shake us. And I don't want us to be shaking in that way,
that way. Yeah. Yeah.
in our big age. I don't want
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely.
I don't need,
So go ahead.
don't need
I would
that.
say dating roster is a yes. It is a yes. I think it's encouraged. I think you should have it. If you don't, that's okay too. I would say at the least be open to it. So what that means is maybe you're talking with someone, you're dating someone, and then someone else expresses interest or you meet someone. Be open and willing, depending on where you are with the other person. So if you guys are just casually dating, it is not exclusive, then of course
Have fun. I
continue
mean, it's
to get
supposed
to
to
know
be fun.
people. Go on multiple dates during the week. Like, you have a coffee date with this person, you have a shopping date with that person, you have a
Shopping,
pottery date with that
shopping
person.
dates are fun
They
because
are.
I went on one with this person I seen, and oh my God, I was so nervous because I'm like, oh.
You're
And then
not used to spending someone else's money. I get that. I felt the
I
same
was
way,
like
but
that, and I was
let
like,
let I'm telling you right now, I'm a big advocate. If you want a provider,
mm.
that's a good way to
You see,
assess and like test,
and how they spend and see how they spend the
freely.
money.
Yeah, and how freely they're willing to spend on you. So I feel like in the beginning, stages, if that person is willing and wants to see you happy and smiling and they're free with their funds, that's a great indicator that they'll probably be willing to like provide and like step into the role of provider. If that person is stingy and like then that may be an indicator that perhaps they're not. And if you're looking for someone who is, keep it in mind. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
that,
want to like add this. I want to add this while we're talking about Russia, and I touched earlier in the episode. We really I think as women, we really need to remove the stigma of
yeah,
oh, that's sleeping around. Oh,
no, it's
you're
not.
if you do this, and it's not. It's oh
No,
my God, it's not. It's okay to see several people. It's okay.
you should.
Problem.
You
And
should.
and let's say your rush has, and then that one person has a red flag, and that red flag is a no. You can be like, bye, in a nice, respectful way, of course. but that no, and they don't match your vision, then they're just like, no, 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 no. And that alarm, internal alarm goes off. And it's good because your eggs are not in one
Right.
basket. So you're
That's
like,
the point. You're not gonna be like heartbroken or thrown off your game because you lost or you ended things with one person because you have other people that you're considering. But when you're focused on only one person, girl, it
isn't
can
it hard?
hurt. Oh, it hurts big time. It feels like you're breaking up, like it was an actual relationship. So it's not though. You
It's
see
not.
how that's not how you should be approaching dating. You should not be so heavily emotionally
That's
involved and invested with one person that if things were to end for whatever reason, you literally are like down and oh my gosh, and you're crying. That is not the goal. I've been there, done that. I'm guilty. Same. Been there, done that. But that's not how you play the game. I'm just trying to
and I
put you on
know
game.
better
It's
now.
not.
I can't be like this. Like
No,
remember the episode? I was like,
no, no.
I'm not doing that
Keep it
anymore.
moving.
Not doing that
Keep
anymore.
it moving.
I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss the fun times we had. I'm gonna care for you while you over there, and I'm doing me.
Right,
And I want you to do you. I
right.
want you your opportunity too. And sucks it wasn't us, but that's okay. That's
That's
okay.
okay. And that's why a roster is nice to have because like you said, you're not going to be focused on one person. You're typically not going to be invested so much so heavily so soon. And I think the beauty of having a roster is you will if you're doing it right, you will eventually narrow it down. You have like top two or top person that's really standing out, and that person may be the person you want to say, okay, I think I'm ready to go ahead and become exclusive with just you. But that's not something you do in the beginning. That's something that over time, after you've had a chance to mingle with, different people. Oh, I like the way this feels. I like what we are building. I like where this is going. I think we are aligned in our thinking and our vision. Let's see where this goes. And you become, serious, and maybe it, turns into a relationship and then whatever that looks like for you. But that's really how I envision and expect that process to go. And remember, dating is what you make it. You
Mhm.
define you define what dating is. Like we said, dating for us means you're not sleeping around. You're not having sex with everyone. For someone else, maybe it is. That's up to you. But I'm saying don't feel like it has to be and don't let anyone pressure you into that. Because I've experienced that too. I've experienced dating someone and they tried to introduce that after I've already explained and let them know that's
And
not
then Gordy
my
said
interest.
no.
I've already very clearly, articulated, no, I'm not interested in doing that. This is not something I do during this stage. And they were like, and they were trying to convince. That's a hard no, too. You define your dating experience. You define what the boundaries look like. You define, how you're going to show up with every person. And it may look different. And that's okay, too.
Mhm.
That's okay too. You are in control, you know? You run it.
And you
That's
handle
my
it.
advice.
You handle any business. And don't ever feel bad for saying no. Because I've been on receiving end of it. They're gonna like guilt trip you a little bit.
Mm-mm.
Like,
That's
mm,
not a good sign. That's probably not a good person or a good fit for you anyway. You
right.
know? Mm.
Just acting. And I understand that temptation where you're like, no, thank you.
Right.
No. And it's
Yeah.
hard.
It
It's
is.
hard to do. And especially coming from me, especially. when you crave that touch, when you crave that intimacy, and then this person is tempting you with all those things you want. It's like,
It's very
ooh,
sticky. It's
playing with
very
fire.
sticky.
And
You
I
are
told you I don't want to
right.
fire.
Right. No,
I
that's a red
like,
flag for me. That's a red flag. I've been
I,
there, I've done that, I've experienced that, and it doesn't end well. So, that's probably not a good sign that you should continue with that person because they're clearly not respecting your choices, your boundaries, and what you've already communicated with them. And that could show up in even more serious or dangerous things later.
yeah.
Like,
Okay.
when sex is actually introduced and you
Ooh,
do say no, are they going to respect that? So, you have to pay attention to behaviors and patterns of people in the beginning because people are showing you who they are. You need to believe them.
mhm. And honestly, like now that I'm older, sex should be a safe space.
It should
And
be.
we'll dive deeper into that later.
Yeah, another one for sure. Another episode.
But, but
Yeah,
for
it's
now,
big topics. Big.
yeah,
Yeah.
for now, I think this is a good place to stop about the
Yeah.
dating life. But if you want us to continue, let us know in the comments. So like, subscribe, all that.
Yeah. Share, follow. We appreciate you and your support. Until next time. Bye.